Sanitizing instructions for reverse osmosis. You're going to shut off your water supply to your RO unit. You're going to open your water faucet and depressurize your system, which will be letting your tank drain completely. When you're getting started, if you have anything like an ice maker or humidifier hooked up to your system, you'll also want to shut those lines off so that nothing is calling for water during your filter change and sanitation. You're going to remove the membrane in all filters. Press down on the collar or collet of the quick connect fitting. Remove the tube by pulling straight out. This will be unscrewed. And the membrane will be removed. It'll be sealed tightly due to the brine seal on the outside of the membrane. You might need some pliers. You just want to be careful not to damage the end when removing it. If you're going to reuse the membrane, you'll want to store it in a plastic bag in the fridge or in some water. Screw it back on tightly. Replace your tubing by pushing it in firmly all the way until it locks in. The filter wrench, turning from right to left if you're facing the unit, screws on here. Once you get them loosened, the rest can be done by hand. Have your gloves on when handling your filters. Screw it, remove your filter, either discard or save if you're going to be reusing these filters. Sediment is your number one housing. This is where you're going to put the sanitation solution. You're going to screw these all on hand tight and give a slight, as much as maybe only an eighth of a turn, just a slight turn to snug them up. You're going to tear your sanitation packet open, pour the entire contents in sump number one, which is the sediment. You're going to make sure these are tight. And you're going to allow the system to fill with water. By that, you're going to be turning the feed line back on. Since there is no restriction, there's no filters, there's no membrane, the water is going to rapidly run through your system, and the tank is going to be filled in a matter of minutes or maybe even just a matter of 30 seconds or so. What you're going to do is you're going to wait 10 minutes. Then you're going to open your faucet, and you're going to let it run for 10 minutes. It won't run out. It'll just continue to run for 10 minutes solid. Then you'll shut your faucet off, and then you'll let your system rest for 10 minutes. Then you'll open your faucet again, and you'll flush for another 10 minutes. Then you'll shut off your inlet supply and the tank and open the faucet to depressurize the system. Then you're going to reinstall the membranes or the filters if you're going to reuse them, or you're going to use your new set. You're going to do that the same thing just by unscrewing. And when you're putting in your filters, you're going to be using the silicone that's provided, and you're going to be putting a small amount around and just making sure that you've got the entire O-ring covered in silicone. That's going to give you the best seal, and you're going to put your new filters in and screw in. So you're going to do that for all your filters. Yeah, okay, so you're going to reinstall your membrane. Same way, removing this tube. And this goes in with the double O-ring, will be inserted first, and you'll have your brine seal near the cap. And this should screw in all the way. You shouldn't be able to see threads when this is inserted properly. You shouldn't be able to see any threads right here. On this side, this is the T side. Depending on how old the system is, this configuration can be slightly different, but ultimately you're always going to have a T somewhere on this side of the filter, and this is the side that goes to your tank. This is the side, the elbow side goes to your faucet. So what you're going to do is you're going to disconnect the tubing as usual, holding in the collar, pulling out the tubing, doing the same thing on this side that goes to your faucet, and then your fittings will be unscrewed. And then you would grab your new filter, use your Teflon tape, and the way that you wrap Teflon tape is looking down on the threads. As you're looking down, you're always going to go clockwise. So you're going to give that, 3-4 wraps to be, see how the flow will point to the faucet. So this is always going to be to the faucet, your elbow fitting. And these can typically just be hand tightened. If you do see any drips after install, you can take a wrench to the flattened area and tighten more, but typically hand tight is going to be fine. So you'll Teflon tape both sides and screw them in. And then all you're doing is snapping it back in, reattaching, and again, this goes to your tank, and this goes to your faucet. Covered it. So once you've changed your filters, you've got everything changed. If you've simply turned off your tank in the beginning and you still have a tank full of reverse osmosis water, then you would be able to turn your tank back on at this point, flip your faucet on, and you will see and hear air and carbon coming out of your tank. So don't be alarmed with the noise and the sputtering and the black that you'll come out, because what it will be is it will be flushing your final polishing filter that has granular activated carbon. That'll clear up momentarily, and it's always a good idea to run a full tank of water through your filters and let it fill up, and you can even flush it a second time and then be ready to drink the third tank.